sanctions ranging from any of these. Okay. And I ask you to go and read further. This is the how many of you were able to read IDEA? Please, comparativist.
Prof, I did.
Fantastic, Jessica. So once you go there, you have, more insights about compulsory voting. Okay, good. All right. We talk of political exclusion. Today we are continuing from political exclusion. We are talking about political participation, but there is also a concept of political exclusion, which is like an antithesis of political participation. Whilst we encourage people to influence the policies or decisions of their government and personnel by participating in politics, in some occasions there are some elements or some provisions, some arrangements, some impediments that obstruct people's meaningful participation in their political system. That is what we call political exclusion. When the system or there are some arrangements that make it impossible or difficult for other segments of society to meaningfully participate in the political system. So in some jurisdictions, there are those who are effectively prevented from taking part in collective decision making. And these usually occupy a marginal position in society. They are not allowed to take part in decision making. In some jurisdictions, migrant workers or people who don't speak native language, in some jurisdictions, females were not made to take part in critical decision making, such as voting. It will take sometimes up to the some parts of the 20th century before many states would include females. Okay, so there was nothing like universal adult suffrage. The suffrage was limited. It took a while before many people were admitted into the mainstream collective decision-making arena. And so when we talk of political exclusion, it simply means when many people or segments of society are effectively prevented from taking part in collective decision-making because of some positions, some marginal positions they do occupy in society. Okay, and I've told you. But in contemporary times, political exclusion is something that is not very common. Okay, modern states have constitutions, and these constitutions have progressed over time, have been reformed over time, such that elements of discrimination and exclusion will not be tolerated by these constitutions or legal arrangements. Okay, all right. But even though de jure or by law, people are not excluded from collective decision making. For example, if you take Ghana's constitution, Chapter 5 of the Constitution talks about fundamental human rights, and that no person shall be discriminated against in any shape or form, whether even in or participating in politics, whatever, based on gender, class, religion, region, race, their creed, whatever. So political exclusion in the Ghanaian jurisdiction, well, the constitution does not allow. And this is also true for many other jurisdictions. Now, even though the law encourages for participation, we have realized that women participation has not been very phenomenal in politics and collective decision making. Maybe society or culture or economic reason or many other reasons have sought to limit the active participation of women. In contemporary times, they are doing well, okay, but then they need to do more. Now, when you check globally, when you take women participation, or when you take the total population of women as against the total numbers of people in governance, you see that, yes, you see that the ratio is not very appreciable. Yeah, so when you compare the number of women, let's say, go to parliament, if you check the ratio of female to males, then you get to know that the number needs to improve. Okay. Sometimes, as I mentioned, societal forces such as the economy, culture, our attitude, and all these tend to affect women active participation. Sometimes the nature of parliament, the way they debate. You see the nature of parliament, it is too masculine in nature.
Yes, Prof.
Jessica, do you agree?
I do agree.
Why do you say so?
Prof, if we take close observation, most of the time when sitting is in place, they give more hearing to the men, as in to speak out. But on the other hand, too, you could see that the women who don't come out come and talk. It's only the men that are always um sharing their views and their opinions. Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. It is too masculine in nature. Sometimes even the kind of comments they will pass. If you are not a strong person, you may quail back, may never even want to speak. Some people may pass a comment at your person, okay, and then, well, but that is parliament. They speak some languages, to dampen your spirit. It is part of some of their techniques they use. So they use it even on their male counterparts. Okay, but that's why I said it's masculine in nature. They use some words which are sometimes harsh on themselves. And sometimes also look at how usually they even resort to physical bouts. Disorganizing tables, pushing one another, forming some barricades.
Spider-Man.
Yes, Spider-Man, push, and all
Nothing
this.
balloting box.
And swallowing some of them. Chewing them, running. And all this. See, women are usually gentle and they don't want to be engaged in some of these activities. You see, it's not just Ghana. Go to South African Parliament. Charlie, that place, they buga. If you go to South Africa, their parliament, they have been fighting all the time. Buga. You see, women, they are gentle, and so, but all these taken aside, okay, which tend to, um, maybe reduce the interest of women in participation or offering themselves. You remember we talked about level 4, level 4 of participation, right? We talked about being what elected politician. And so when we talk of participation, we are talking about the levels. And so at all points in time, women participation seems to be low. Now let's look at this. Now, despite this, well, when you take parliaments around the world, the women who have done well in terms of participation at the highest level, usually their ratio is very low, mostly below 30%, whilst the males are usually more than 70. But this is the only thing. Well, this is one of the only things that Africa does well. You see, in most cases, you mention anything negative, and then Africans are the heroes or champions. But this one, you mention it, and then African country comes first. When it comes to women participation in parliament, globally, Rwanda tops it. Women do well. Women ratio is 61.3%. In Rwanda, women participation in their legislature is very, very, very appreciative. Okay, they do well, 61.3%. Top notch. So this one, maybe we have to clap for Africa. Give some thumbs ups, some thumbs up for Africa. Rwanda. And at the end of the day, I will ask you as comparativists, let us go to Rwanda to learn what lessons so that you can profess some recommendations to your government with regards to how best we can increase women participation. Followed by Cuba, 53.2. Look at US. What is the US percentage?
23.5. Very appalling.
3.5.
Yes, yes. You say it's very appalling. We will check that of Ghana too. We will check Ghana.
United States.
Yes.
You are unmuted and you are talking.
So, but globally, these are the ones that do well. Okay, they do well. They are above 30% threshold. So once you are above 30, it means you do well, oh. You do well. Look at US, 23.5. So you see all these ones starting from Senegal, number 12 position, Finland, but you see, well, they are all above 30. Now let's look at it at the global level since we are looking at comparative politics. Women in parliament, regional averages. When you take the Americas, women, well, they form some 33.9%, almost 34%. Go to Europe. Europe is 31%. Telling you that, I mean, the averages are not good. Okay? The averages are not good. So globally, women participation needs to be improved. We need to encourage more women. Come to Sub-Saharan Africa, where you have, yes, yours truly Ghana. Well, of course, but this is Sub-Saharan Africa. We are almost 26%. That is 25.9% women participation in parliaments. All right. Now, we take the Pacifics, and then we have 20.9. Asia, 20.7. Then Middle East, 16. That plays here because of culture and what have you, 16%. See, but we will throw more light on Sub-Saharan Africa. Now, you check the general averages for 25.9. Now, let's disaggregate. You come to East Africa, and then the number is for 32.1. You see, East Africa, they do well. Come to Southern Africa, 30.9. Central, 22. West Africa. Hello.
16.3. Yes, bro.
You know West Africa?
Yes.
So, yes.
So you see, West Africa women participation, and that is why we are grooming comparativists here. All the females here, you see, you need to aspire to greater heights. So you need to start from here. You need to join POSA activities. They said on 13th they are going to have POSA Parliament. They are meeting. Do you know POSA has Parliament? You need
Yes.
Yes, bro.
13th or 10th or so they are meeting. They have invited me. So let's meet over there. I think I'll be one of their guests. Well, they brought the letter to me today. But I mean, this is how we start it. You begin from here and then you are building it up. Okay. Because the number is not encouraging. 16.3. Now let's come to Ghana. Now let's zoom to Ghana. Women in Ghana's parliament. Okay. Now Ghanaian politics has witnessed some appreciable women involvement. You see, from 1960, we had 10%. Women percentage was 10%. Then by 2020, it was 14.5. So you check it out.
Prof, it's negative 14.5.
Oh, no, it's 14.5.
Okay, but it's negative, sorry.
No, so it's 14.5, okay. Right. Good. 14.5. Now, women participation is still below a 30% threshold. So even though, well, from 1960 it was 10%, the number has improved to 14.5%. So from 10 to 14, at least we've done well, but it is still below the 30%, which when you reach there, we say you have arrived. You see, the IPU, Inter-Parliamentary Union, has said that, well, you need to aspire to at least 30%. At least if we have 30% of our MPs being females, then you are doing well. But you see Ghana, you see, we are at least half. Since we have not reached there, we are still below the 30%. Affirmative action policies, ideally come to mind, which are ways to improve women participation. Okay, so towards the end of this lecture, that will be something I'll pose to you. You need to find out more innovative ideas that will make women participate more. Now, when we take the 275 member 8th Parliament, which was inaugurated on 2021, we had only 40 women MPs. Okay, only 40 women MPs. The NDC had 20 women, the NPP had 20 women. So we had 275 members, but only 40 were females. Now, when you check it out, it's around 14.5 thereabout. Now, Check out the new parliament that we have. The 9 parliaments. When you check the parliamentary candidates, you see, before you become an MP, you become what? A candidate. Is that not correct? Hello?
Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
So out of the 801 parliamentary candidates who stood for election in the 2024 elections, 801 parliamentary candidates, only 118 were females. So even when you strike that average, you see that those who offered themselves were few. And by the time we were done with the elections, 41 of these seats were won by females. Okay, 41 out of the 276. See, now it's 276. 41 were won by females. Okay, so here, this is a table I have done to demonstrate women performance in the various elections. So you check the various years. You see that at all points, we have not even crossed the middle point. What is the acceptable threshold? Tell me, what is the acceptable threshold?
30%.
30%. But we have not even crossed the middle point. But how do we increase women participation? This is something I'm going to give to you to propose by way of suggestion. So in some states, they have what we call the reserve seats or party quota and then legislative quota. Go and read more on these mechanisms and get some examples of states that use each of these. And then you can propose measures. You can propose measures that will enhance female participation in Ghana. Are you with me? Okay. All right. So that will be that for our discussion on political participation. Any question on political participation? Hello?
No.
Very
No
well.
question.
Very well.
Dog, please, I have a question. It's about the political exclusion.
Yes.
It's not really necessarily a question, but it's something I want to ask.
Okay, please do.
The political exclusion, can we say that it's mostly at a higher level in the authoritarian countries? Since most of the citizens are not involved in collective decision making in authoritarian countries.
Yes, you can say that. You can say that there's political exclusion there. Okay. Yeah. In some jurisdictions where we deliberately also sideline some members of a society based on some features they possess, maybe based on their gender, based on their economic status, and some other indicators. It is also an element of political exclusion. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
In many states, it took a while before certain groups were allowed to vote. You go to the US, it took a while before females would be allowed to vote. Even more, it took a while before blacks would be allowed to vote, okay? And that was when, people like Martin Luther were fighting for these equal rights. That was a political exclusion. They were not allowed. All right, thank you. Now, let's go to our substantive topic for today, my dear friends. Our substantive topic for today is political culture. political culture. Now, when you hear culture, what comes to mind? What is culture?
Prof, it's the way of life of a group of people.
The way of life of a group of people. Good. The way of life of a group of people. Okay. Any other?
Prof,
Yes.
Chief, you can also say that is the way people have, or a group of people have come together, the acceptable way people have come together to live their life. Something they've agreed upon to
Yes.
be their lifestyle.
Okay. Good. Good. So what they have agreed to be their way of life, okay, including even the languages they speak, the way they dress, the foods they eat, the dance they dance, the festivals they celebrate, and everything. And some kind of traditions that they have, and somewhat rituals. Now, political culture is also a very detailed topic, very interesting one that we study in comparative politics. And we will do a lot of synthesis here because we are doing comparative politics. We will not just do political culture and then leave it there. We will do comparative assessment. And I'll give you a task. I hope you have all subscribed to the page, right? Have you?
Yes, dog.
Yes.
Yes, dog.
Yeah. We will do a lot of comparative assessment there as well. Now, when we talk of political culture, I have some epigraphs here before we even begin with the explanation of political culture. Now, Aristotle and then Montesquieu have argued whether a nation is constituted as a tyranny, a monarchy, or a republic depends on the prevalence of servile, honest, or egalitarian orientations among people. So, I mean, what Aristotle and later on by what Montesquieu. Now, what they argue is that whether a state will become what a monarchy, and you know a monarchy. Hello, what's a monarchy? You see,
It's
A
a system
monarchy, yes.
ruled by
Rulership by one person
yes.
okay,
for the interest of
Monarchy.
all.
okay,
It is when a king or a queen leads
okay.
to
When
the
a
interest
king
of
or
all.
queen rules, based on what
Yes.
established for rules, one
Yeah,
person.
dynasty.
You see, when we were looking at some typologies of comparative assessment done, we looked at the work done by Aristotle when he studied 158 city-states. You remember? Then we looked at the work done by Montesquieu, who classifies states into three, whether it is a republic, whether it is it's a monarchy or a despotic system. Do you remember that? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
Prof.
Yes, please, we remember.
Level 200. Good. Now, so whether a state will be ruled by tyranny, or a despotic or rule, or it is a monarchy, or it is a republic, it depends on the nature of the people. If the people are the soft type, we don't like trouble. We don't even like fighting. We don't like war. Huh? They are the farmer nyame type who will not assert their rights. Very servile. They see themselves as what? Helpless. always dominated upon. Those are several people. You are going to get a tyranny or a despotic or government because the person has put his hand in your mouth and has realized that the people don't have teeth to bite. Right? But, well, if the people are also having a culture of being so honest, well, they are so glued to some of practices. Oh, this was how our forefathers did it. And so we will continue with it. Oh, this is a tradition. This is the ruling or dynasty that our forebears had revered. And so we will also not depart from it. And so they are so honest to their tradition. Well, so they continue with their monarchy. But if you have a people that have egalitarian orientation, hey, that be nobody's a king, nobody, is a slave. We are all equal. We are all equal. Meaning that the people have egalitarian orientations. So like the American societies go to Europe, where they believe in equality, right? They believe in equality. Then they are likely to get Republican states. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes,
Yes, bro.
So
Yes,
clearly
bro.
what we are saying is that the culture of the people, the general outlook of the people, okay, will determine the type of government they will get. If the government knows that the people, these people there, they are no nonsense people, Charlie, you will take your things and run away from the palace. Okay, now let's also look at this. De Tocqueville argued that the flourishing of democracy in US reflects the prevalence of liberal, egalitarian, and participatory orientations among the American people. In the US, democracy flourished because the people have a mindset, they have a way of life, a way of thinking, a worldview of liberalism, freedoms, okay, egalitarianism, equality, and then participatory orientation. And so democracy will be the only form of government that will survive. Any other form of rule? No, because the people have a culture of freedom, equality, and participatory orientation. Now the last one, by Laswell, a democracy without Democrats is unlikely to survive. A democratic regime emerges and survives where a majority of the people share orientations that are compatible with the operations of democracy. Do you agree with Laswell? Do you agree with Laswell? Simply, he means that
Yes, bro.
if we want to have a democracy, then we need to have a population or a people that believe in democracy. A people who themselves are Democrats. Otherwise, it is likely to fail. If everybody doesn't agree, or majority of the people, they don't agree, then the system will break. There will be overheating, and the system will break. All right. And so, if a lot of people share in that, then the system will survive. Because, for example, you cannot talk of an effective state where the people have good sanitation, or a state where sanitation is top-notch, if the people don't have that orientation of cleanliness. You cannot. The government will provide all the dustbins, you will make all the laws, but you are not there. So they'll be throwing the things away. And then it will, it will make all the gutters choke. Then you have flooding or challenges. But when you work on their mindset over time through education, sensitization, as done in Rwanda, okay? Rwanda, we were there in February. And this one, I was skeptical about the system. And so I was watching with eagle eyes, keenly to see. And this one, dear Charlie, you wouldn't see any robbers on the street. No, no, no. Not even in the areas that you will call, I don't want to use any names, but you go there, you will not even see any robbers there. And they told us that this one, they have worked on it over time. So the people have come to accept it. So you can have a clean state when the people share in that worldview. They have that orientation. Well sensitized. They believe in it. Whether they are being watched or not, they will not throw the robbers anyhow. All right. And all these things are driving home the point that culture is very important. Culture is key, whether a state to be a democracy or not, whether to be rich or poor. The culture, the mindset of the people is key. Now, culture denotes the general political attitudes and orientations of a population. Okay, when we talk of the political culture, it denotes the general political attitudes, general orientation of a population. You mentioned that a state has a population, it has a territory, it has a government. And the government comes from the population. So the general political attitude and orientation of the population of a state is what we call the political culture. Now, what is the general political attitude of Ghanaians, if I should ask? Tell me, my dear friends, what is the general political attitude or orientation of the Ghanaian population? Yes.
Lukewarm.
Lukewarm?
They don't play, yeah.
Any other? Do they love the state?
Yeah, they are patriotic, but some are apathetic.
But do they love the state?
No, Prof.
Why do you say no?
Because they don't rule for the interest of the people, but in
Okay.
their own personal gains, Prof.
Okay. Well, you are saying that. Well, to some extent, that is why when people secure government job, and then everybody say, hey, Charlie, why you Charlie, you are going to enjoy. Why are they saying so? Why do they say so? Let's say someone, is recruited as a police officer or a customs officer, and then his cronies or the people around are happy. Why do they say so?
Prof, because of the kululu that they will do on the borders and also the checkpoints. The police officers.
Yes, because they are thinking that you are going to, enrich yourself.
Dog, they've realized that that's how the system works.
And if you go there to customs 5 years and you are not rich, what will the people tell you? Your own people.
You will question.
Sorry that you are not wise.
They'll say that, oh, yeah, guy, cry, you are slow. Actually, slow. You see, so that is the general political attitude and orientation, which needs to change. So when we talk of political culture, my dear friends, it stands for the basic attitudes of people towards politics. Why do people go into politics? Why do people go into politics? Their general attitude towards a policy and then polity, which is the country or the political system. If I ask you, last week I asked this question. Okay, I think that was level 200 class. Hey, yeah. I asked this question about why people go into politics. And then one mentioned that, well, because of corruption or what have you. And I asked her if she gets the chance, will she also do that? Well, she said, of course, why not? I was using the case of what prevailed some time ago in Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, then what Zaire. When there was high corruption, the state was so corrupt, high-ranking government officials were very corrupt, and prices of things were so high, so escalated, such that the ordinary person who loves his job, who loves the country, like Yeboah-Assiamah, if say, well, you so love your job that you are not going to take any money anywhere, any bribe, you say, hey, you couldn't survive in the system because there was high corruption, grand corruption. Everybody was so corrupt that prices of goods, prices of accommodation, everything was skyrocketing. The ordinary person could not survive in such a system. You needed to also get some side money before you could survive in that system. And it would take the Catholic bishops, very powerful word, entity, to come out and say that, hey, ayeye, it's okay, government, you need to calm down, stop the corruption. If you do not stop this grand corruption, we will have no option than to tell our people to also engage in corruption, because then you are choking everybody. Those that are not corrupt, they cannot live in the system because prices are escalating, and you can afford because you have corrupt money. And so I use that to pose a question. Okay, and the general sentiment was that, well, they were also going to engage in that. And that tells you the basic attitude of people towards politics. When you could hear a minister of state on tape that, hey, media, I entered into politics to get $1 million. So once I get it, maybe blah, blah. So it tells you the basic attitude of people towards politics, towards policy, and then their political system. Okay. In comparative politics, political culture is often studied from behavioral perspective, using survey of individual attitudes. And that is what we are going to do. Okay, we will do that. I will do practical demonstration of this. Practical demonstration of this using the World Value Survey, so that we will know the political culture of different countries. We will know the culture. Do you know the political culture of Ghana? Well, you've mentioned it, but we will use empirical data. We will look at several other states, okay? Because the way they answer questions, the way they respond to survey questions, for example, will you be corrupt if you were to secure government job, or do you love your country? We have answers to this by population from different countries. And so we can We can do comparative assessment of culture across states using the World Value Survey, which I will take you through. That's why I asked you to subscribe to the channel. We will do that in practical terms, okay? Using the World Value Survey map. Any question for me, my dear friends? Is there a chat? I see one chat here. Oh, okay, cash out season that. People enter into politics to cash out. Is that the case? Okay,
And
well,
Rob, that's very bad, though.
but it's bad. But what can we do? We are comparativists. We deal with what is, not what ought to be. So we say, what is the culture? So we present the culture as it is. And maybe we also come out with some suggestions, okay, of how to improve the situation. You understand that?
Yes.
Like the female participation, the women participation, we mentioned that it is not the best. I mean, less than half of the threshold, okay? That is comparative politics. We tell it as it is. Maybe towards the end, we come up with some suggestions, which I've asked you to go and read more on that. The quota system, if you were to advise government. Okay, great. Now, political culture denotes the sum of fundamental values, sentiments, knowledge that give form and substance to political processes. Okay, all the fundamental values, the people's values, their sentiments towards the state, and the knowledge they have about the political processes. So if you have a population and they have no idea about their government, it means that the people, they are not even following what their political system, okay, and that is not good. They are far removed from the state or the polity. That is too bad. Okay, so when we talk of political culture, it denotes the sum of fundamental values, the sentiments, whether the people, they love the state, or once they hear the state, they see the state as some alien entity out there, such that the moment any of the people will get access to the state, like say public office, hey, we have arrived, it is time to chop. Then clearly the sentiments or the fundamental values that people have towards the state is not one that is an appreciable one. And we will look at some types of political culture, which will make you understand this very well, my dear friends. These are the components. Very good. Let's assess components of political culture. The first one is cognitive orientation. It is implied by the amount and the type of the knowledge which the people possess about political problems, political events, and their government. You see, once we talk of cognitive or cognition, it's about knowledge. Knowledge. What sort of knowledge do the people have about their government? Do the people even know their political system? Are they aware of even their political institutions? If you ask them, mention even the regions we have in Ghana, who is the president, okay? What are the issues prevailing in Ghana? When did Ghana attain independence? Okay, I mean, basic things about the state, Ghana. That is why today, when you go to crèche or even KG, the people, they are studying history. They are studying the history of their country. Hey, and their children, Charlie, these days, you see, they even know more than us. So, are you aware? Go and ask them. Hello.
I tell you.
You see,
Yes, bro.
No, bro.
You don't know?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, God.
Sure. Even
If
those
you
in
try doing
KG.
the assignment,
Yes.
you get zero.
If they bring their, I have a class 4 girl, if she brings her assignment, even not the class 4, KG2, if they bring their assignment, I mean, the ones on our history and then OWOP, okay, the things they are learning about Ghana, history of Ghana, the big six, and Kwame Nkrumah and those who designed the national flag, the composer, basic things about Ghana. You see, sometimes you have forgotten about them, or we didn't even learn most of them. They are learning it at KG, class 1, class 2, class 4. It is to improve their cognitive orientation. And they even learn about modern things like Shatawali and all those things, contemporary music, and classic music, Nanam Padu, all those things. So that, they get to have the cognitive orientation of their state. The amount and the type of the knowledge which the people possess about political problems and events, okay? All right, good. That is cognitive orientation. You learn the basic knowledge and what have you, so that you are aware of the problems. Once you know the problems, you are part of it or part of its solution. You are not so far removed from the thing. We also have what we call affective orientation. This implies the amount of devotion and interest to, so this one, affective. Let me come back to your, let me use your things. Jessica, are you there? Jesse.
Prof, I'm here.
If we say Godfred has affection for Jesse, what does it mean? He has affection for Jesse. What does it mean?
Ofilino.
When I can say like Ofilino, eh? Oh, yeah, he has affection towards but it is not always in the erotic sense, okay? Like say, parents have affection for their kids. What does it mean? They care for them, they love them, Like say you have affection for the lady, it means that you care for the person.
They have their interest at heart.
You have their interest, you care for them, you
can kill yourself.
You have some love for them.
Kill yourself.
So when we talk of affective orientation, it implies the amount of devotion, the amount of interest, the amount of love, the care that people have towards their country or their political system. So you can take 2 or 3 different states and even examine their affective political culture, or even examine their cognitive orientation. And we are going to use the World Values Survey based on certain questions they ask the population of a state. And the way the people answered, you are going to measure the cognitive orientation. You are going to measure the affective orientation, whether the people, they love their state or they don't love. And you can compare 2 or 3 different states to know which of them has higher affective orientation or more affective orientation. Are you with me, my dear friends? But do you think Ghanaians have higher affective orientation?
Yes, please.
No.
The Ghanaian population.
No.
But Ghanaians, they love the state. Or
yes.
It's moderate.
If they love the state, they will make the state dirty.
Especially
or maybe
they love black stars.
Maybe
Black stars.
Okay.
Only black
You
stars.
see.
Only black stars.
Well, we see you are right. Maybe we should do a referendum or a survey. Then we check. Now the last one is evaluative orientation. Evaluative orientation. When we say we are going to evaluate, you see, like I'm teaching this course. At the end of the semester, I'm going to evaluate you. to know the extent to which you understood the course. That's why we examine you. Now, when we talk of evaluation is the extent. So if we say a state where people have evaluative orientation, then we are looking at the extent to which the people can call their governments out and say that, hey, Mr. President, you said you were going to do 24-hour economy, huh? One job, 3 people, 3 shifts. How far now? You said you were going to do 1 district, 1 factory. We are in Techiman. How far now? Where is our district? Where is our factory? We are in Adenta municipality. Where is our factory? That is what? Evaluative orientation. Then we say the people have what? High evaluative orientation. And so I always encourage people to watch what? Johnny's Bites. I don't know whether these days he's biting or he's not biting. Is he biting these days? But
they remove his tooth.
No, but who watches TV3? Or you don't watch TV? Hey, you people.
He doesn't.
Does he bite?
We watch.
But you
He
see,
has stopped.
well, even if he'll bite these days the way he bites, but 2 years ago he was biting well, and I like it. I always prefer the students to go and watch him because that was what? A master stroke evidence of evaluative orientation. People like Captain Smart. Yes, after Captain Smart, I know these days he's still biting. He's biting small. That is,
He's on fire.
He's on fire, yes. He used to fire, and I think these days he's still firing. And that is a typical example of evaluative orientation. Calling what? Leaders out. You said you were going to do this. Why or how far with it? Come and explain. Come and what? Account. Justify. Okay, that is evaluative orientation, not a Yezu, huh? Not that, not a she. No.
Emefa, it is possible.
No, not MFA, Mia, or what? You see, no. We want a people with what? With evaluative orientation. And that was why initially, I think the last 2 years, I formed the channel. And when you read the caption of the YouTube channel, I call it evaluative what? Political culture. Evaluative political culture. You go to the channel there. Oh, Charlie, I mean, hey, mute your microphone. What? So these are the components of political culture: the cognitive orientation, affective orientation, and then evaluative. If you have a people that do not have evaluative orientation, leaders will take the people for a ride. They will say nice things, then they get the power. They come and still the people be doing, oh, a Yezu, oh, a she, it is possible. And then nobody questions how leaders have used what the state resources. Okay, so here, evaluative orientation talks about the extent to which the people ask critical questions. They evaluate their political system to know if the political system has achieved the objective which it had sought to achieve it. You said you will put in place practical measures, okay, to address flooding. And then, early on, you were in a plane with a team. You formed a team doing some area or view. Then you came and gave us some assurances. Now there's flooding. people with evaluative orientation will no longer be listening to the explanation again, as was done last 2 or 3 days. But the people will be asking, Mr. President, the last time you went up there and then you formed the team, tell us the measures that were put in place. So, well, at least we can know that, of course, sometimes you can do all you can, but then nature might overwhelm you. So tell us, what were the things done? That is evaluative orientation. Not that the thing happens again and then we come and then it is what? Another talk, another lecture. Okay, like was done. Explaining again. You know that Ghana, you see the rains, increase, and then of course, yes, that one you mentioned it the other time. But tell us the measures that were put in place so that if, people are reasonable, if all these measures were put in place, but then the volume of the waters overwhelmed us, then at least the people can see that it was an act of God or nature which overwhelmed our measures that were put in place. That is evaluative of orientation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the father of modern studies of political culture is Yeboah-Assiamah. So most of the things we'll be doing, you will see this name again, almond. So notice it very well. Yeboah-Assiamah. Are you with me? Who likes almond?
Me.
You like it? Almond. You see, so
Almond milk.
How does it taste? Almond.
It's on sweeting.
So that you never forget this name, Yeboah-Assiamah. Okay, and you know Angel Gabriel. Now, in 1956, Yeboah-Assiamah studied the American political system in an essay called Comparative Political System. Then he studied political culture in details. Okay, now political culture is a universal concept. It is a universal concept studied everywhere, but we talk of the dominant political culture within a territory or jurisdiction. Every political system has their distinctive culture, and for you to know that we are going to, for you to know the culture, you need to do a survey of a cross-section of the population to know. And we rely on studies that have been done, studies that examine the love of the people for their state, then you can gauge their affective orientation. Studies or surveys that gauge the sentiment or knowledge level of the people towards their political system, then we can gauge their cognitive orientation. Surveys or studies that gauge the analytical rigor of the people, how they call their leaders to account, okay? Then we can gauge their evaluative orientation. And that is why I said we are going to use the World Value Survey. World Value Survey. They have surveyed a lot of states. And based on how the people answered the questionnaire, the same questions were posed to different people from different countries. Now, the answers to the questions will determine the people's political culture. And we are going to do a practical, hands-on, so that if I ask you questions, you can use practical examples to tell me the political culture of states. Political culture is part of the general culture, yes. And so you see the way people behave towards politics, the way people in government behave. The people, they did not come from heaven, or they did not come from the depth of the earth. No, they are from us. They are from society. So if the society is corrupt, what kind of political culture are we going to get? Yes, if society is corrupt, what kind of political culture are we going to get? A corrupt one, right? And
Yes.
if the people are
Yes.
honest people, if the people are naturally honest people, what kind of culture do we get?
An honest political culture.
You see, in Ghana, where people don't trust even their family members, see, in Ghana, do we trust people? Do we have enough trust?
No.
No, sir.
You
At your
see,
own risk.
your friend can come from your village and say, oh,
They are paranoid.
oh, Yeboah, where are you? I'm in Accra. You know, oh, the person will come, you go and what, hang out for a few moments. Okay. And then the next day you will see that the person is posting on Facebook that he's in Holland. Hey, Charlie, so you were traveling to Holland. That was why you came from BA through Accra, but the person will not tell you because of trust issues, because of witches and wizards. And so,
But Prof, you can trust me.
you,
Me, Seth.
Yes, I mean.
Well, we can trust, but we talk about the general sentiments, right? Yeah, and I can trust a lot of you, including Martha. Is Martha
Me, they don't
there?
trust me.
Martha, are you there?
Prof don't trust us.
Well,
Like we want to write exams.
This one that I've asked everybody to go and then subscribe to the page. Do I trust that everybody has subscribed?
Oh, yes, we have.
Are you sure? Have you all?
Yeah, but you don't trust us.
Yeah, the first time it was shared in a group for us to subscribe to it.
They did.
Sir, don't trust them.
It was shared in the one.
No, I don't trust the people.
Sir, we are heartbroken.
Well, let's see. So the political culture is part of the general culture. If the people generally trust, then the politics will be full of trust and other things. The political culture influences the political system. Yes, of course. And so that is how it is. You cannot grow tomatoes and cultivate cassava. Okay? So the political culture is part of the general culture. That is why the role of the clergy, religious institutions, the church, the mosque, okay, traditional authority, very crucial, because the moral fabric of the people from society determines the political culture. And so it is a shared responsibility. The agents of socialization need to be up and doing, because what we have as a society determines what happens at the political arena. And the political culture influences the political system. The way the polity behaves is the same way the people are also going to behave. Just like what the Catholic bishops in Zaire said. If the system is full of corruption, if the political culture is full of corruption, is replete with corruption, we will have no other option than to also encourage our people to be corrupt. What does it mean? It means the political culture also influences the political system and whatever happens in it. So culture is crucial in comparative politics. For you to understand maybe why one country is developed, the other is not developed. Culture culture is key there. Great. Let's look at the civic culture. Now, have you seen this name before? Gabriel Ammon. Have you heard of it before?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Who is he?
The father of The modern father of
Father
modern
of
political
modern
culture.
political.
Okay, fantastic. Modern study of political culture. Gabriel Ammon. Now, in 1963, again, he did a work with his colleague, Sidney Weber. Sidney Weber. Now, this one, they called it the civic culture. They wanted to examine political attitudes, and they did it in a cross-national analysis, okay? So they did a cross-national analysis. Ebenezer. So you see, Ghanaians will say corruption is not bad. Corruption is only bad if they are not what involved. But if they are involved, they will not talk about it. If they are part, they will defend it. And that is what the culture, that is the general mentality of the people. Okay. Now, in this work, these two scholars, Armand and Weber, they did a comparative national analysis of 5 different states: US, UK, West Germany, Italy, and then Mexico. They wanted to gauge the political attitude. So they wanted to test the political culture of these 5 different states. Great. That is the civic culture. Now, what did they find? They observed that in the civic culture, Armand and Weber came, observed this. You see, it was a cross-national analysis of 5 states. These were the observations. They observed that in countries such as UK, starting from US, about 66% of the people mentioned that, oh yes, we if the government is not good, we can do something about it. We can challenge the government, okay? If the government makes a law and we don't like it, we can challenge it. 66% of the people. In UK, 56% said, yes, we can challenge the government if it makes unjust laws. In Germany, 33% said, oh, yeah, well, we can. In Mexico, 33%, and then in Italy, 27%. Now here, they were trying to gauge. Please ask your question. You have raised your hand. Yes, Mr. Aqua, or is it a mistake? Aqua, is it a mistake or what? You've raised your hand. Or I should proceed?
Yeah, Prof.
Okay.
Your line was breaking, that's why.
My line was breaking. Oh, sorry
Yeah.
about that. The internet has not been stable. But is it fine now? Please, is it fine now? Can you hear me?
It's still breaking, but now it's quite
still breaking.
Oh,
but it's quite clear now. Please, I'm trying to speak so that we can check whether it is okay.
Yes. Is it okay now?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. I talked about Armand and Weber in their cross-national analysis of 5 different states, right? That one, you heard it.
Yes,
Yes,
Prof.
please.
Now, they noted that the ideal conditions for democracy, suffices or would emerge when essentially the people demonstrate participant culture. Okay, when the people demonstrate participant culture, which is also balanced by attitudes of low levels of participation. This is their study, and their study observed this. If you go to US, this one too, did you hear it when I was speaking about it?
Yes, Prof.
So they realized that in US, more than 66% argued that, oh, yes, they could challenge their government, whilst in Italy, only 27%. Good. Right, but let's look at types of political culture. Maybe then we will end with that one. Armand and Weber, in their study, and based on this observation, they observed 3 types of political culture. Well, some people have what we call parochial political culture. Parochial political culture. We also have subject political culture and then participant political culture. Now, last week when we were looking at political participation, what are the 3 types? When it comes to political participation, what are the 3 types?
We have the
gladiators, spectators, and
and apathetic.
Fantastic. So please note it. When you go to participation, we have it there. Gladiators, spectators, apathetics. When you come to political culture, we have what? We have the participants. The participants, you can equate them to the gladiators if we were looking at what? Participation, right? And then you have what? The subjects. Here, there to be what? There to be what?
Spectators.
Spectators. And here we have parochial. There to be what?
Apathetics.
So note it very well. If in the exam I ask you about political culture, please speak about this. If I ask you about political culture, speak about them. Although speak about the others. Although in explaining, you can use this to to buttress your explanation, but you need to clearly mention the typologies, okay, so that we are clear in our mind that you are speaking about participation and not culture. Now, they identified 3 types of political culture. Those with participant political culture. Here, the citizens pay close attention to politics and they regard popular participation as desirable and useful. So you see popular participation. So the people are generally living on gladiators, right? Because they regard popular participation as useful and they will participate. They are more or less like gladiators, right? They pay close attention to politics. They are always monitoring, always what? Engage in evaluative orientation, high affective orientation, high cognitive orientation. They are aware of the issues. They follow the issues. They will call you out. They will ask you the critical questions. And they have what we call participant political culture. They pay close attention to politics. If you say you have earmarked some $3 billion to increase drains, at the end of 2 years, 3 years, then they have not seen any drains that have increased in terms of sizes. Then they will call you out because they pay close attention to politics, policies, and whatever is happening. Now, we also have those that are subjects. Those that are subjects. Now, those with subject, political culture, they are characterized by more passivity. They are passive. They are sitting on the fence, more or less like spectators. The citizens are very passive and a recognition of little ability to influence government. Well, they follow politics, right? They also what? They pay attention to politics, but they are passive because they think that they cannot do anything to change whatever the government can do. And so they may not even participate. They may not do what? Protest, demonstration, strike, writing petitions, because they think that they cannot do anything about their situation. Even if government wants to make a law that will choke them, they think that they are not in the position to challenge the government or the states. And we say, well, they have a subject political culture. They are seen as subjects. You see, now when you go to our traditional authority, the chiefs are royals and the people are what? The people are what?
Subjects.
The people are subjects. And in typical traditional arena, you don't challenge what? The chief. You are what? Subjects. They are royals. You take it as they say. And so, when we say a population or people have subject political culture, then they have come to accept their situation as, they are mere consumers of information. The government does everything. They cannot challenge government. They cannot influence government. We also have parochial political culture. And these ones are like they are pathetics, right? This is marked by the absence of a sense of citizenship. Charlie, these ones here, they are not even following any political events. They are far removed from the political system. They don't have any sense of even affective, they don't have the affective orientation. They don't have the cognitive orientation, and they don't have the evaluative orientation. There is absence of citizenship at all. They don't care whether you even vote or not. I mean, whatever. The people identify more with their locality than their nation. So you go to typical villages, the people, they don't even know what is happening. They don't know what is prevailing at the moment. I mean, those days when people were talking about e-levy and what have you, you go to some typical villages, they don't care, they don't know what is happening. They are more concerned with their immediate locality, okay? And then we say, well, these people, they have a parochial political culture. They are far removed from the system, whatever is happening. Okay. So that is the work by Armand and Weber. Then they observed this. Any question for me? So those states that have participant political culture, right? Here, the people are quite keen. The people are quite keen to participate in the political system. And they influence the operations of government. Yes, they will challenge the government to work and work well. They will call you out when you are not performing as expected or as promised. They are always busy making reasonable demands on the political system. The people are always making demands. So check the political system. Labor unions are making demands. interest groups are making demands on the political system. Student unions are making demands. UTAG, very soon, maybe UTAG may strike. They have passed a resolution. All these entities are making reasonable demands on the states, and they are involved in the making of all decisions. Some of these will influence government decisions. The people or the individual is oriented towards the system as a whole, both the political and administrative structures, both input and output. The people participate in the decision making. They make or protest, demonstrations, strike, petitions, what have you, to influence government decisions. If it is e-levy, some people went on demonstrations, press conferences. Look at this flooding situation. The opposition is making some press conferences, some putting pressure. The media, what have you, people are also talking about these sort of issues. They are taking part in the decision-making process. That is the input aspect. They are not just sitting down to receive whatever government will do. No, they are not just assessing government decisions. No, they are part of the decision-making process. And this is congruent with democratic political culture. Political parties, pressure groups fall in this category, okay, because they actively play this input role. Now, states with subject political culture, when you go to monarchies, when you go to monarchical states like Oman, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, these are subject countries. You can find this political culture typical of the people. They think they cannot even challenge the state, and sometimes the states can be brutal. The people, they follow events. They are aware of the governmental system. Yeah, they follow issues. Whether they like it or not, they follow what events. They are also aware of the role of government regarding lawmaking. They know government makes laws, taxes, enforcement of laws. They are aware of these outputs. Yes, they are aware of these output elements of the government. They love the government. They are affectively oriented towards it. Okay, they demonstrate affection. But this is on the downward flow side of politics. In these, countries, monarchical systems, the subject countries, the people have been taught to participate only in the output of elements, but not in the input. They are not taught to participate in the input. They have not been trained or socialized to challenge their government. Hey, no, the government can be brutal sometimes. These are authoritarian regimes, okay? And so the people have a subject political culture where they have been oriented not to challenge whatever government seeks to do, or whatever they seek to do and how they seek to do it. And so they usually do not take active role in the input elements, what goes into the black box of political decision making. Sometimes they are not allowed to do so. And so the people find it difficult to influence the working of the political system. Of course, these are typical authoritarian regimes. Now, this kind of political culture is congruent with a centralized authoritarian structure. So check it out. those states with authoritarian structure, they are mostly having this subject political culture. Now, let's look at the parochial political culture, my dear friends. These ones, they have no understanding of the national political system. They do not possess any tendency to participate in the input process, and they have no consciousness of the output processes. They don't have the cognitive orientation. They are not aware of, even what government has done, the decisions. They have no idea. For all you know, there are some people elsewhere in some parts of the country, even in Ghana, they are not aware there has been flooding in the capital. No. They are not aware. They have no consciousness of the output processes. Decisions made by governments. Some people are not even aware that e-levy has been abolished. They are not aware. No consciousness of the output processes. They are not aware that Parliament has passed the LGBTQI, they are not aware of anything. They are not aware of the input elements, they don't participate, and they are not aware of what has been done. Nothing. They are remotely aware. Well, they know that, well, we have the government, John Mahama, he's in Accra, far away. They are remotely aware of the presence of central government. But, well, they live their lives, enough. They are just living in their cottages, their villages, in their small world. They see the state or the government as far away. They have neither knowledge nor interest in politics. They don't have knowledge, no cognitive orientation, or very poor cognitive orientation, and they have no interest in politics. African tribes, and Eskimos fall in this category, okay? They have no role to play in the political culture. Now, these classifications are usually extreme, okay? In reality, it will be difficult to find this, but these days where people have access to radio stations and your mobile phones and what have you, so this is sometimes far-fetched, okay? But there are some in this category, okay? Eskimos, and then typical African tribes in the hinterlands. Typical hinterlands can fall under this. All right, my dear friends, we will end the lecture here. I'll pause for questions and answers. Any question, comment for me? Any comment on what we have done? Okay, Clement.
Yes, sir. Please, I have a question.
Yes, please do.
So I would like to ask if the people that fall under the parochial political culture are apathetic.
Those that fall under, yes, they are apathetics. Clearly, they are apathetics. Okay.
So
because
they do not care.
They do not care. And when you check all this explanation here, they have no interest in politics. They have no knowledge. If they have no interest, they don't even want to participate. Okay? And so they are clearly apathetics. Thank you for drawing that linkage. Good. Any other comments? And you can also say that okay, Emmanuel.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello, bro.
Yes, Kwame.
Please, you want the slides to be shared on Sakai?
And the slide.
I'll share
the slide on Sakai.
Okay.
And I also I think I also share the recording on the class channel. Okay. On the class channel. Yes. I'll organize it into segments, which will make studies, very easier for you. Great. Any other? Yes.
Bro.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say something about the apathetic in the parochial.
Okay, Jesse, please do.
I think with like cultures like that or people like that, they create a national disaster because they don't know the system, and at the same time they tend to do what they think is best, but what they think is best also cause disaster to the nation. Yes, that's what I want to say.
Okay, all right, thank you. Next week we will look at what we call civic culture. Civic, at what point do we say a state has a civic culture? Next week we will look at that. Okay. So enjoy the rest. Well, of course, enjoy your holiday and then the weekend. You have a very long weekend, right? Enjoy and read your materials, okay? Bye-bye. See you next week.
Bye. I'll pray for you or it will not rain, eh?
Yes, we should pray it doesn't rain. Yes. Yes.
Ebola the second.
Maybe we should go into the